friends, how are we today? Thank you so much for dropping by and visiting with me on today in my beautiful kitchen. Well, so what are we gonna do today? Wait, before we start, I'm gonna need no judgment on my Wonder Woman shirt, okay? Do not judge me. Yes, I am wearing a Wonder Woman t-shirt, and I know who I'm talking to, and you know, yeah, no judgment on my Wonder Woman t-shirt. No judging, people, no judging. So, what are we gonna do today? Today, we're going to have a warm steak salad. Good. I'm not gonna eat it, but I'm making this extremely special steak salad for my husband with homemade balsamic vinaigrette dressing. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be hearty, but it's also gonna be good for you and light. You're gonna enjoy it. Stay tuned and let's get started. So we're going to get started on our steaks, our warm steak salad on today. These are the ingredients that we're going to be using. As you can see, we have an assortment of seasonings back here, some herbs of Provence, some white peppers, some rosemary and thyme, and some fennel seeds. That's going to be mostly for our dressing, some blackberries and a lemon. That is also for our dressing. We have some chopped mushrooms. Of course, some steak, very lean steak that we've already sliced up there. We have some oyster mushrooms. That's going to be for me, for mine, because I'm not going to put regular steak on mine. I'm going to put oyster mushrooms on my salad. Some sun-dried tomatoes, some minced garlic, some smoked sea salt, and some chopped onions and tomatoes, along with some cubed bread. This is some artisan bread, kind of like sourdough, but a little different. Some artisan bread that I cut into cubes because we're going to make our own croutons to go on our salad. So that's what we're working on. Okay, first we're going to start with preparing our croutons to go into the oven because they take the longest, and while we're doing everything else, the croutons will be toasting. So we're going to cover the croutons with some olive oil. A few tablespoons, 2 to 3 tablespoons should do it. I only had about 4 slices of bread that I cut up into cubes. We're going to add our a little bit of our minced garlic into it. Not a lot, because you know minced garlic, fresh garlic has a lot of strong flavor. We're going to also put in some sea salt. And this sea salt here just happens to be a garlic sea salt that I found because I am trying to give it this garlicky flavor. So we're going to put in a little bit of sea salt because you want your croutons to have some nice flavor. Not a whole lot. You don't need a lot of salt, but enough. We're going to put in a little bit of rosemary. Because rosemary gives croutons really good flavor. And then we're also going to put in a little bit of herbs of Provence along with a little oregano. Okay, now, and that's going to take care of our croutons. Now we're going to mix that around so that all of the pieces get everything on it. You want to get the sea salt, the garlic, and all of that. All of the herbs mixed into every piece. And if it seems a little bit dry once you mix them together, go ahead and add a little more olive oil, which is what I'm doing, a little more drizzle of olive oil, because you want every piece covered so that it can toast really well and golden and still catch all the flavor. Okay, so now what we're going to do with this is we're going to put this on a cookie sheet, cover with parchment paper, and we're going to stick it in the oven, and we're going to put the oven on broil and put it on 375 and then cook it until it's toasted and brown. And right before it appears that I'm out of parchment paper, which is okay, so I'm just spray the pan with some nonstick spray. And I usually use the parchment paper because I don't want it to stick, and you know, don't want it, basically because I don't want it to stick. Make sure that when you put in your bread cubes into the pan, that you're not layering them on top of each other. You want it to be completely flat, because if you stack them, then the bread will start steaming a little bit, because it does have a little moisture with the oil and everything, and it won't get all nice and toasty. So we're going to stick this in the oven on our croutons to get done. We're going to go ahead and do a quick marinade for our steak. And so what I'm going to use for that, and it only takes it a couple of minutes to marinate, you just want it to get a little flavor on it before you put it on the pan to grill it up. We're going to use a little apple cider vinegar, about a quarter cup of apple cider vinegar. I lost the top. Some apple cider vinegar. You want to use your crushed, about a tablespoon or so of your crushed garlic. We're going to use a couple of tablespoons of liquid smoke. Now, so we're going to use a couple of tablespoons of liquid smoke, and the reason we're using liquid smoke because it's going to give it that smoky kind of flavor that you get when you put it on the grill, because we're in the house, it's a little cool outside, so of course we're not going to put it on the grill. So, and I'm going to do it on the stove. So we're going to put that in there. We're also going to put just about a teaspoon of honey. Okay, then we're going to use a little bit of thyme, just a little sprinkle, and a little bit of white pepper. Oh, I never opened this one, isn't that something? And a little bit of our smoked sea salt. Let me get this white pepper ready down. Okay, sorry about that. We had a little technical difficulty with the white pepper. We had never opened it, and the paper, the seal on top was giving me the blues. So a couple of shakes of white pepper, and then we are going to take our whisk and whisk that together. Pardon me. Just gonna whisk that together. Now we're gonna take that and pour that over our steak and just let that sit for just a couple of minutes and adopt a lot of that flavor. Okay, now while that's sitting in there, I'm going to put a little bit of fennel seed. Excuse me. Alrighty. And then we're going to take this over to the stove, because it's going to be ready for us to start grilling it in just a second. Here on the stove, I have my trusty griddle pan. Grill pan here. See, it's a regular pan, but it's got grooves like a grill. I love this thing, especially for when I'm trying to do a couple of things and I want to grill, but I can't. And I want grill marks on the sandwich or something, but I don't have a grill outside that I can go to or whatever, or, you know, I love it. It's quick and easy. So, now, what we're going to do is I've already started heating that up, making sure I put the right one on. Oh, Lord. Okay. So, I've already started heating up this pan. Now, as this pan is heating, we're going to let it get a little hotter. Going to let it get a little bit hotter. And, you see, as you can see, our steak is already marinated a little bit. Like I said, not trying to do an overnight marinade. We just want a quick one. And so we're going to let it get a little bit hotter. And then once it gets nice and warm, we're going to cut it down to about medium high, because you don't want it to cook too fast. You don't want the meat to be tough. And the best way to find out, make sure that your pan is warm enough, is to hold your hand up here. And if you can feel the heat, it's usually warm enough. We're going to take this meat and start laying it on the grill area. See, and you hear that sizzle. Y'all know I'm addicted to the sizzle now. So got it sizzling going on in there. We're gonna let that cook all nice and tender. And you see the fennel seeds are holding on to the steak, which is a good thing, because it's gonna give it good flavor. Fennel seeds are really good when you're cooking, especially meat, because if you're trying not to eat pork but you want a sausagey taste, fennel seeds. Chicken, put a little fennel seed in it or something. I promise you, turkey, when you're making your spaghetti, use some fennel seed. And I have a grinder like a coffee grinder that grinds up coffee beans, but I use it for my herbs. And a lot of times I'll take the fennel seeds and put it in there and grind them up really well. Mix them in with my ground turkey. It tastes really, really good. My husband loves it. He thinks he's eating sausage. So you see our steak is grilling. Very long for it to cook. And I was looking for my tongue, sorry. But it doesn't take very long for it to cook. And I really wish that you guys could smell my kitchen right now, because I smell the croutons in the oven and they smell delicious. So I smell the croutons cooking in the oven. It smells really good. So anyway, we're going to turn this over. You see it's already starting to get brown. Turn that over really nicely so it can brown on both sides. Now look at how beautiful that is. That's nice. Look. I mean, one of these days I'm going to invent smell vision. That's what I'm going to invent. Where you can smell stuff as it's cooking. Oh my God, this steak smells so good. So we're going to let that sit on that pan for a little while. And while we're letting it sit on the pan, we're going to cut it down to medium so it can cook really nicely. And then we're going to start sauteing our other things that's going to go in the salad. Okay. So like I said, I'm letting the pan heat up, and I'm going to use a little cooking spray instead of oil. And see, I have a deep pan, and the reason I have a deep pan because I have quite a few things that I'm going to put in to saute together. So I'm using this. And we're going to cut our steak down on low because it's just about done. It doesn't take it very long. I'm going to put it on simmer because I don't want it to overcook. And of course I have my trusty spoon. Now in this pan, we're going to go ahead and drop in our onions and tomatoes. Just drop them all in there together. And start sauteing those. And I'm breaking up, if you see what I'm doing, I'm not mashing up the veggies, I'm just breaking up the onions because I didn't like break them apart. And so I want them to kind of break up and caramelize while they're sauteing in this pan with these tomatoes. And the reason I'm putting the tomatoes in together with the onion is because I want them to kind of caramelize, but I want the onions, the tomatoes to have a really good kind of oniony flavor added in. So I put them in together so that, again, they can marry eso other. So now that my onions and tomatoes have started to sizzle, I cut it down to medium. I'm going to add a little bit of my thyme seasoning, and of course you see I'm not using the fresh today, and the reason that I'm not using fresh because you want this to be a kind of quick meal. The salad shouldn't take forever. And so I'm putting in a little bit of my smoked sea salt, give it a little more smoky flavor to go with that steak. And then I'm going to drop in just a pinch of the fennel seeds. And if you can notice, I am not using any pepper at all today because once you mix all of this stuff together, you're really not going to need it, especially when we do our salad dressing. Now, our steak is already done, so I've already removed that pan from the burner and cut it off. And so now we're going to put in our mushrooms that we're sauteing, and see where we're sauteing all of this in together. It's going to be nice and flavorful. So we're putting in our mushrooms, and then we're adding in our sun-dried tomatoes. All that's going to go together. Now, you see I put in regular white button mushrooms, but I'm going to separately saute my oyster mushrooms because that is going to be my meat, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Put in my oyster mushrooms, which is substituting for my meat in the salad. And I'm only going to saute them for just a couple of minutes, because it does not take mushrooms forever, and it certainly doesn't take oyster mushrooms forever. So I'm just going to saute it a little bit, let them get warm, and then that's going to be my meat on my salad instead of the steak. While we're waiting on our onions and stuff to simmer down over there, we put it on low. Okay, so first we're going to take the remainder of our crushed garlic and put it in this big measuring cup. Makes it a lot easier. Now, so instead of using olive oil because it's kind of heavy, I'm going to use grapeseed oil, and I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of the grapeseed oil. Is this not the cutest measure cup you ever seen in your life? That's exactly 1/4 cup. And so I'm going to use a 1/4 cup, and I'm doing it like this because I want you to see the measurements. I don't want you to have to try to guess. 1/4 cup of that. Then we're going to use about a 1/2 cup of white wine vinegar. Now, rule of thumb is that a 1/4 cup, if you only have like a 1/4 cup measurer, 2 of the 1/4 cups makes a 1/2 cup. But I actually have a little liquid thing here that's a measuring cup that has a 1/2 cup measure on it. Those are like 30 tablespoons or some craziness like that. So it's a 1/2 cup of white wine vinegar. I'm going to pour that in there with the oil. Okay, now we're also going to put in just a little bit, about 1/8 of a cup of sesame oil. Why are we using sesame oil? Because it gives it a nice flavor, believe it or not. And I'm going to put about 1/8 of a cup of sesame oil, which is why I only used a 1/4 cup instead of a 1/2 cup of oil. So we're going to give that. Then I have this balsamic glaze. I'm not using balsamic vinegar because I'm going to use some crushed blackberries. But I have this balsamic glaze that I bought at the store, and it's made from balsamic vinegar. It's really, really thick. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of the balsamic glaze in. And it's on the same aisle with the balsamic vinegar and all the different types of vinegar and the oils and stuff. And I got this one. This one is made by Bertolli. I don't know if you can see it because the light is kind of bright. So Bertolli balsamic glaze, and just a few squirts of that. Then we're going to take our whisk and turn and whisk it around. Okay. So far we have about 1.5 cups of dressing. We're going to need a little more. So what I'm going to do is add a little more white wine vinegar because I need about 2 cups of salad dressing because of the fact that it's 2 of us. And you don't need a whole cup, but you want to, drizzle and cover. I'm going to add a couple more squirts of the balsamic glaze. And then I'm going to add just a tad more of the sesame oil. I don't want to add too much grapeseed oil, just a little more sesame oil. And that takes us up to about 1 3/4 cups, which is great because we're going to add something else special to this that you're going to love. Now, when you're making dressings, do they need to be seasoned? Yes. Please don't forget to season your dressing. So, what I'm going to use is just a couple of pinches of plain regular sea salt. Not pink, not black, not anything else, because you don't want anything to take away from that wonderful flavor that you're getting out of your sea salt. Out of your dressing, I'm sorry. And then just a pinch or 2, I'm going to go ahead and do 2 of pepper. Now, I do not want to add any garlic powder or anything to this because I put about a 1/2 teaspoon of fresh garlic in it. I already went ahead and washed out this pan because I forgot to cut the burner off when I took the mushrooms out, and I didn't want to have dark stuff in my dressing. That wasn't what I intended to be in there. So I sprayed it with a little bit of cooking spray just so it doesn't burn really quickly. I have the fire on medium because this is what we're going to do. Our dressing is going to be a warm dressing. So watch this. About 1/3 cup of brown sugar. What? Mama Kim, you doing brown sugar and dressing? That's crazy. Watch. I promise you won't be disappointed. So okay, so you got 1/3 cup of brown sugar. And then in a strainer or sieve, you're going to take a few blackberries. I got 12 blackberries in here. And I'm going to press them through the sieve. because I'm trying not to put a lot of seeds in it. Okay, I want the juice is what I want. So I'm using my hands to press it, because sometimes even if you use a spoon, your hands work better. So I'm using my hands to press it. We're gonna press that blackberry into the pan with that brown sugar. Now it's gonna start sizzling like okay, our dressing, it's only been a couple of minutes and our dressing has already started to simmer. So now I'm gonna cut it off and let it settle. Okay, so our dressing is ready. What I'm gonna do is take it and put it in this nice, beautiful mason bottle that I have, that I found at Target, because if we don't use all of the dressing, of course, I want to save it and put it in the refrigerator. So I'm gonna pour that in, and it made a pretty good amount. That's plenty of dressing, isn't it? Salad dressing, isn't it? So I'm gonna put the top on it and shake it up some so that it's nice and incorporated when I pour it on. We're gonna build our salad. So first thing that I'm gonna do is we're gonna take our spinach leaves. These are fresh spinach leaves. I buy the ones in the bag, and I still wash them. You know, they're already pre-washed, but I still wash them just to be safe, because you never know. And so you're gonna put your spinach leaves in your plate here. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop on our onion and mushroom and onion, mushroom, and tomato mixture that we put together and sauteed. Isn't that pretty? Looks really nice, doesn't it? Okay, now we're going to take some of, if I get the tomato to come off. Okay, now we're gonna take, I'm sorry, bloopers in the kitchen. We're gonna take the steak and lay that on top. And I'm saving a little of the steak because I'm gonna pack this up for my husband's lunch tomorrow. He's gonna like that. So put steak on top, and they're lovely. And then we're going to take our croutons and lay them on top. Isn't that beautiful? That is a beautiful salad. Oh my God. And then I saved a little bit of the sun-dried tomatoes that were not sauteed just to put on top. Now, your dressing is warm. That's why it's called a warm salad, because your salad dressing is warm. So we're gonna pour over a little bit of our warm salad dressing. Be very careful, because it is still warm. You might, even when you put it in the bottle may be hot. So be careful when you're picking it up. All right, now, here is the vegetarian/vegan version of this salad, okay, without the meat. So we're going to put the fresh spinach down on the bottom, and as you can see, I'm being a good girl today. I didn't even use any cheese. So this is the vegan version. So we're going to put that down, and then we're going to use some of the sauteed onions and tomatoes also in mine. Okay, just sprinkle that on top. That's going to be lovely. Then I'm going to take my oyster mushrooms, because that's my meat substitute, is the oyster mushrooms. And if you don't like oysters, that's fine. You can actually use tofu as well, because tofu doesn't have any flavor, so it takes on the flavor of whatever you season it with. So I'm using oyster mushrooms, and then I'm going to put me some croutons on top. And a little bit of the sun-dried tomatoes. And then I'm going to take the dressing, warm dressing, and cool down some. Did it? Yeah, cool down some. And I'm going to drizzle that on top of mine. That's going to be heavenly. All right. Okay, my darlings, there we go. There we have it. It was quick, it was easy, and it's good for you, and it's going to be good to you. We have our nice steak salad. That's for the hubby. A warm steak salad, and the reason we call it warm is because the meat is warm, the veggies are warm, and so is the dressing. And then we made a vegan version made with oyster mushrooms for me. So it's good, it's healthy, it's quick, and very easy to make. It's very delicious, and of course, I have to do something different. I topped it with a little bit of my everything but the bagel seasoning. That stuff goes on just about anything. So, thank you so much for stopping. If you like what you see, please hit like and subscribe. I'm going to try to give you as much quality content as I possibly can. We got some more dinner ideas coming up, some lunch ideas. We even got some breakfast ideas coming your way. And next week we're going to start a series that I think you're going to like, that I'm really excited about. And don't forget about, don't forget about our monthly giveaway up until March. You have until the 12th to get in your questions about cooking, and that's the 12th of every month. So thank you so much for stopping by, joining me in my kitchen, spending a little time with me, enjoying the kitchen experience. God bless you. Have a beautiful evening and happy cooking.